Hi friends, so today we'll start with the fourth lecture of Excel. In the previous class we have studied about how to remove the text to columns, how to remove the duplicate values and the validation rule. Today we are going to study about the consolidation, combining values from multiple ranges into one new range, then the what if analysis and how to do the grouping and the ungrouping of data. So right now we are working on sheet 1. Let's start with the data consolidation. So we have certain students in a class and they have scored certain numbers in their exam. So let me put some random values. Okay, so this is the score they have secured in their maybe internal one. We can save the document. So these are the marks for internal one. Then we will open a new document. Copy the same range of data and change the values. This we can store with internal marks 2. Let's suppose again we have one more sheet in which we'll store the marks for internal exam 3. And this we will store with internal 3. So now what we have to do is, the school administration want to see the marks for every student and for every individual subject, and they want to see the total of all the 3 marks the students have secured out of 100. So what they have to do is, they have to use the data consolidation. When you have the data available in multiple workbooks, so you can consolidate the data into one single report. And how we are going to do this is, let's open a new document. So this is nothing but the report file. Okay, so we will go to data consolidation. Function is sum, since we need to sum the values. Now we have to select the reference of the data. So first we will go to internal marks 1 sheet, add, then internal 2, again add, then internal 3, add it. And since you have the top row and the left column, top row and left column means we have the in the top row we have English and the other subject, and we have the student name. So we will use the labels, then click on OK button. So you will see you have the total marks for Rohan in English and in mathematics, and similarly you can find out the total marks for Disha, Nitin and the remaining students. So that is how you can make your work more easy and more effective, and there will be no chances of any error happening in the work. And this is the feature we normally it can be like the data can be in multiple workbooks, internal 1, 2, 3, or it can be within the same workbook in different worksheets. so we can do the data consolidation. So I'll save the document. Moving to our next part, we will study how to do the what if analysis. So here you can see we have a certain number of books. The total count is 100. So first we will study what if analysis, what exactly does it mean. So we have three different tasks: scenario manager, which allows you to create and save different group of values or scenarios and switch between them. Then we have a goal seek. Goal seek will find the right input when you need to know the result you want, and the data tables allow you to see the data values and the result of many different possible inputs at the same time. So what does what if analysis do is, let's take a very simple example. So we have a shopkeeper who has a certain number of books in his shop. The total count may be 100. So a shopkeeper normally sells the books at the different prices. So the highest price is $45, and this is the profit margin per book, and the lowest profit margin will be $25 per book. So maybe 80% of the books he sells for the highest profit margin, and the remaining 20 he sells for the lowest profit margin. So now he need to find out the total profit margin when he sells 80 books for highest profit margin, which is 45, and the 20 books for the lowest profit margin, which is 25. So how we are going to find this output is, it's very simple again. 80 multiplied by 45 plus 20 multiplied by 25. So that is how you can find the total profit margin. And you have to make your data more flexible in terms of, here you have mentioned the percentage sold for the highest price is 80%, and the number of books is D4 into C4. D4 into C4 means 80%, 80 divided by 100 into C4, which is 100. So this will come to 80, and 20 will come through C4 multiplied by 1 minus D4. So C4 multiplied by 1 minus D4 means D4 is 0.8, 1 minus D4 is 0.2, and C4 multiplied by 0.2 is 20. So now what we are doing is, we are finding the profit margin for this particular shopkeeper. Now for the next day, shopkeeper thinks like how I can increase the profit margin, or how the profit margin will go down. So what he can do is, he can create multiple instances. Multiple instances will be created through a scenario manager. I'll just delete all the scenarios. So here we are going to create different scenarios in terms of, if we sell 50% of his books for the maximum highest price, then how much the total profit margin will be. If we sell 60% of the books for the highest price, then how much will be the profit margin. And again, it could be for 70, it could be for 90, or maybe the possibility is he sell the 100% books for the highest price. So how much will be the profit margin in that case? So we are going to create the multiple scenarios. Click on add button, scenario name. So let's suppose 50% is the highest. Changing cell will be D4. Since the number of books will be changing, I'll just copy it. Then click on OK button. So for D4, the value will be changing. If the 50% of the books are sold for the highest prices, the value here will be 0.5, and then OK. Again, add a new scenario. Make it 60% highest books. Changing cell will be D4, and 60% this amount will be 0.6. Click on add button. 70% with the highest profit margin. D4 will be 0.7, click on OK button. 80% we are already keeping it by default, so we'll take it 90%. 0.9, and again the last scenario could be 100% books are sold for the highest price. Here the value for the changing cell will be 1. Okay. So now if you want to see the summary, so then you can go and click to summary here. So the scenario summary, the result will be E11. If you want to see the summary, you can select scenario summary. If you want to see the pivot table report, you can click on the pivot table report. Changing cell E11 will be because we are getting the final result in the cell number E11. So that is why we have put it E11. When you click on OK button, you will see the new scenario summary is created, in which if you have the current existing 80% of the books sold for the highest price, then how much we are getting is 4100 profit margin for the total 100 books. If this is 50%, then the profit margin will be $3,500. 60% $3,700, 70% $3,900. If it is 90% books are sold for the highest price, the profit margin will be $4,300. And if all the books are sold for the highest price, then you can easily figure out if 100 books are sold for the profit margin of $45 per book, then the total profit will be 45 into 100, which is $4,500. And here you can see the amount. So that is how you can create the multiple scenarios here. So I hope this must be clear to all of you how to do the what if analysis, scenario manager. And one more very good opportunity we have is we have a goal seek. Suppose if the shopkeeper he wants to create the profit margin, the set cell will be E11. So if he wants to achieve a profit margin of maybe $3,950, let's suppose, then we can easily figure out the changing cell will be we have to change the percentage of the number of books sold for the highest price, right? Then click on OK button. Here we have the set value E11, which is nothing but the total profit value, and we want that this amount to be 3950. And the changing cell, we have to change the total number of books. It can be reduced to maybe any number. So click on OK button. You can see if we want to have the profit margin 3950, then the number of books to be sold is 73% for the highest price. So that is how we can create the goal seek. So again, the scenario manager is very critical from the business perspective, since most of the businesses we need to figure out the profit margins. So that is how we can actually play with our data, and we can do the analysis, which can be very good for us maybe in the future forecasting. So now let's discuss about the grouping and the ungrouping. I'll open another document which is some information about some centers. So these are the name of the centers, this is the status, and this is the status if they are maintaining their hard copies or not, and then the state and the streams offered. So if you want to group your data, so what you need to do is, suppose your data is unsorted, it's not sorted with a state name. So I'll just sort it using some other field value, which could be the LC name. Okay, so now the data is not sorted through a state. So if you want to group your data as per the state, first you need to do is you need to sort the state if you want to group it using the state field. So how you need to sort it? Again, go back to the sorting option, and you can select state and you can sort it. right? Now the data is sorted as per the field name state. Now if you want to apply the grouping, so select the state column, go to subtotal and click on OK button. So here you will see you will find the data is grouped into the multiple counts. Like the Delhi count is segregated. So the total number of centers are 11, and Haryana count is this one. So this is how you can basically create the different views and make it more meaningful when you are reviewing your data. So maybe you can minimize the Delhi state count, you can minimize Haryana, Himachal, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, UP and Uttarakhand. So maybe if you want to see the information for Madhya Pradesh, so you can just click on the Madhya Pradesh count and you can have the information only for Madhya Pradesh. And if you want to see it for Uttar Pradesh, so here you have the information. So that is how you can do the grouping of your data. And suppose if you want to group the first 3 columns as well, so you can just click here and you can click on grouping. So you will see your 3 columns are grouped. You can see the dot value, dot symbol here, and when you click on the minimize, so your data is minimized now. So that is how you can create the different. This is the one which is a different view. 2 again the different view with the state count, and 3 is the different view which is with the total states data. You can click on plus. So here you have the complete information. So the grouping is always beneficial when you have a large set of data. So if you want to just see the data which is more meaningful and something of your choice, so you can group your data and see the relevant information. Again, the last important aspect is if you want to remove the grouping, select the complete sheet, go to subtotal, click OK and remove all. So that is how you can remove the complete grouping. Now you have the complete set of data and you can see the information. You can remove this column. So that is how you can apply the grouping and the ungrouping, and how you can group it as per a particular field name. So I hope this must be clear to all of you. In our next class we will be discussing about some meaningful formulas. So we will be discussing about number formulas, we will be covering the text formulas, and I hope that will be beneficial for all of you. Thank you.